What's up, folks? Melvin here, back again with another video. And gosh, talking about topics like these are very, very difficult because they're just very controversial, and you're just not going to get everyone on your side. When you talk about nerdy topics, even though people may disagree with you, it's like, who cares? But since the topic I'm going to talk about is, real life, and it affects people, and, a person died because of this, it's like, it's very hard to talk about, and you're never going to seem like a good person out of this situation. But, this is important because we're talking about free speech, and I think free speech, we have to talk about it, because it affects free speech affects every single person, every single company, literally everything you can think of in the United States. Free speech is a part of it, so we need to talk about it. So I'll say right now, I am not well educated on the situation, partly because I really don't care, and then the other part is that a lot of people, I feel like, are just like not doing a good job of, you know, kind of reporting on it in the first place. I think a lot of people are doing a really bad job of reporting on it. So let's just talk about it. So the situation in Charlottesville, I think that's the name of the town. So they were trying to take away a thing of Robert E. Lee. And people got mad. People got really mad, and they started protesting. And yeah, it was a bunch of people who were white nationalists and white supremacy and things like that. So that was like the group, and a lot of them weren't ashamed of doing it. There are some problems. Like, it's kind of hard to, like, I understand, like, the part of, like, being proud of where you come from. Like, everyone should be proud of where they come from, no matter what. I don't think white people should be ashamed of where they come from, nor should they look at their race as just nothing but racist. I do not think the race as a whole is racist. I don't think any race as a whole is racist. Of course, every race is going to have racist people, and we're going to see that one way or another. We're going to see that either on the news or on social media. There are, like, everyone has racists. Please don't assume that only white people have racists just because in the United States we had slavery. Please don't look at that. Slavery is gone. Slavery is done. We're still going to have racists. We're still going to have KKK. We're still going to have Nazis. Like, that's the world we live in. We do not live in a world where we're going to agree with everyone. We live in a world where people are free to come up with their own thoughts and conclusions to how life works. And some people have decided that the world of Nazism, the world of communism, those are what work for society, and they want it to work for society, and they want to encourage it as much as possible. If that's their end decision, that is fine. They should be allowed to express that. So in terms of people going out and protesting on the fact that this monument was taken down, they have the right to do so. And I feel like the way the news has been reporting this is that the people, the KKK, have been the ones causing the violence, and that's partly true, but I think that's grouping up more people than it should. I feel that most people who were protesting about the monument, they were trying to do it as peaceful as possible with tiki torches, which that part is weird, but they were protesting, and they were just, they have the right to protest. Everyone has the right to protest, anyone. And then what happened after that, which is what not a lot of news stories are reporting, is Antifa, coming in and, like, also, which is protesting, the white supremacists protesting, which that part I don't approve of. I do, like, I think it's okay for another group to also protest about what another group is doing. That part's fine. But to meddle into what they're protesting, I don't think that should be allowed. I think, I don't know, like, this is something I might need to have more discussions with other people. But I just don't think two protests that are against each other should be getting so close to each other. I feel like if two groups want to protest on the same day, they kind of have to be separated a little bit. They kind of have to be in their own separate groups, because they're just gonna, they're kind of clash with each other. But I don't know, that can also bring controversy because like it's going to sort of put themselves in kind of like a bubble, and like a, like a, and that's a bad thing in terms of freedom of expression and freedom of thought. You don't want to be put yourself in a bubble, but at the same time, these two protesters that hate each other, they're going to start fighting. So I don't know, this is one of the problems, man, that I see with that. But yeah, I feel like those people who did protest about that, they are allowed to protest. And then when Antifa came along, that's when things became violent, and no one's really talking about that. Most people are just talking about the KKK part. And this is where I have to give Trump props. He said there was violence and bad things on all sides, on many sides. He wasn't specifically just saying KKK. He was saying more side, and I feel like that was kind of the best approach to take it, because it's like I've always been told this as a young child. It takes two to tango. So it's not just KKK members that are being violent. It's not just white supremacists that are being violent. It's other groups that are being involved that wanted it to be violent, that made it violent. And no one, for some reason, no news organization is really talking about that. And I don't know why. I don't know why they are. Is it because they want to make KKK members look bad? Because they already look bad. And that's another problem I think we're having in the United States, is that people are assuming that just because some KKK members are speaking up, that means suddenly the United States is racist. That part, I just do not understand where that is coming from. Just because we have a vocal minority speaking out because of a certain president trying to get in, because they wanted a certain president in and they got that president in, doesn't mean America's more racist. Like I'll need to see some more evidence that America's suddenly more racist before you make those accusations. Because now in 2017, for some reason, everyone's just accusing people of being racist, and it's a very slippery slope you're going into when you just start calling people racist, like just flat out there, because like you kind of have to give them a specific, like you have to convince us, like, why are they being racist? What did they say? What did they do? You can't just muddle everyone in to racism and things like that. So, for the white supremacists, in a way, yes, like I can see why they're being called racist, and in some ways, yeah, they are being racist. I can see that. But the one thing that the people have to understand the most is that racism, in terms of how you think, so if you think white people are the dominant group, that is not illegal. It is not illegal to say that in public. It is illegal to kind of say that in like a group, like in a work organization. So some people have been fired. That part I can kind of understand why. I can understand why. It's just not good work dynamics. When you work with someone who. But yeah, that's kind of getting off topic. It's not illegal to have bad thoughts. It's not illegal if someone, like just in a New York apartment, like this a random 40-year-old is always having dreams about shooting people up and like just gunning people down one day in the streets. That is not illegal. It is not illegal to think things. So if people want to think that white people are the dominant race, they are allowed to think that, and they are allowed to express that. So I don't know. It's a very I understand that this is, I'm mumbling because I don't know what to say about this, but I feel like I have to say something. I feel like I have to, again, like, I think it's obvious to see that I'm not Nazi, KKK, anything like that. Like, I don't know why anyone would accuse me of being in any of those things, or sort of like an apologist or anything like that. Like, why? I'm Dominican. Like, why would I apologize for Nazi? Like, why would I be an apologist for anything like that? But I think if a bunch of Nazis want to protest about a statue being taken away, I think that's fine. It's not illegal. It's a horrible thing to admit in public. It's a horrible thing to admit. But we gotta let them speak. We gotta let them speak. We gotta give, like, they have it just like us, just like any other citizens. They have the right to protest peacefully. And then after their protests, we can, protest that Nazis are horrible. But I don't know why you would protest that Nazis are horrible, because it's kind of obvious. And I think it's obvious to most citizens. I think it's obvious. It sucks sometimes because, and one of the main reasons why I have to talk about this is because I have friends. Like, I made a joke one time, like, because I was like, what are white people most known for? And I said, and then someone said being racist. And then I rolled my eyes, but he didn't see that because we were texting each other. And then I said, no, like that, I know I can see that as being a like United States thing, like, you know, like that's the stereotype of the United States. But what about the whole world? Oh, I see, being racist. And I didn't say anything. I did not say anything. But like, come on, please, like that is. I don't know. I just think it's stupid to think that way. I really think it's stupid to think that way. If he was trying to be funny, I understand that. Like, if it was just trying to be a joke, like, yeah, I can see that as being a joke. I can see that as being funny. I didn't get it. I didn't get that he was being sarcastic. But yeah, I mean, if that's what he was trying to get at, then that's fine. But if you really mean that, if you really think white people are just known for being racist, we have a big problem. It's a much bigger problem than just politics. So I don't know what's the end goal here. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. I don't support both sides. I don't support Antifa and I don't support, white supremacy. I don't support that. But I support both of their rights to speak, to protest. I support that. As long as it's not violent, I support that. I support a communist's right to speak. I support anyone's right to speak. As long as they're an American citizen, they have the right to protest. They have the right to organize. Because if they don't have that right, why should I? If they don't have the right to speak, why should I have the right to speak? If they don't have the right to protest, why should I? Why? Just because I have better thoughts than them? Like, how dare I think that my thoughts are better than theirs and that I should force my thoughts onto them? I don't believe in the thought of forcing thought, which means like, oh yeah, you can publicly speak, but you can't say this or that. I believe that in terms of like, in terms of harm, like if what you say could show harm, like a threat or something like that, then yeah, don't say that. But if it's not like a threat or anything like that, that's not against the law, you can say whatever you want. And we really have to remember that. We have to remember that they have the right to speak just like us. And if they don't have the right to speak, then why do we? Why do we have the right to speak? What makes us more American than them? Like, I don't know. That's just a thought. And I hope people don't take what I'm saying the wrong way, because what about me? Like, I think there's an obvious sign here that I'm not a white supremacist in any way, not a Nazi, not a KKK, and I hate that I have to repeat that. I hate repeating that, because why should I? Why do I have to? And why do so many other YouTubers who are white have to repeat that? Oh, it pisses me off, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the solution is, but we got to find a solution. We have to find one eventually, and I'm willing to wait for that time. I'm willing to wait. I know it's going to take some time. I know that the solution's not going to be solved in a day. This what happened there, those riots, those aren't that's it's pushing us back. We're going to have to find time to keep moving forward. And we're going to have to find, I think the one thing we desperately need is that we need people like me who don't support either side to talk about what's going on and how we feel. Because now that riot is sort of playing a manipulation game that, like, oh, since we defend their right to protest, that somehow makes us a part of that group. And I think people like me have to stand up and say, no, like, we're not a part of that group, but they have the right to speak. They have the right to protest. As long as it's not violent, they have the right. And I think some people just aren't getting that. I don't know. There's just something about that. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. I know this is a very heavy topic. I know I'm not the guy to bring it. I'm definitely not the guy. I'm not an expert. I'm not even an expert on what's going on in the riots, but I feel like this is something. I feel like this is a tiny push. It's like I don't know, like think of like a mice pushing a huge wheel of cheese, that's going to take him a very long time to get that in that tiny mouse hole of his. But eventually we will get that wheel of cheese back into that home of the mouse. And Tom won't know what hit him. So There, I ended it on a good joke. So with that said, I hope you guys take care. I hope you have a wonderful day. Let me see. What does this look like with Flash? Do I look better? I don't know. I can't tell. But with that, I'm just playing around with stuff because I have nothing better to do or to say. So with that said, I hope you guys take care. Have a wonderful day. And until next time.